screen. Wait for it. This gets kind of weird and time laggy in just a second, but wait for it. There you are. So we are live on YouTube. Okay. So for example, see now it's showing us going live on YouTube. And it's okay, I can't do that. It just causes me too much pain and suffering in my consciousness. Okay. So if you don't want your face on YouTube, I should have said that before I clicked on play YouTube, but whatever. So what we're doing right now is live streaming on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is on Canvas. So if you can't get your audio to work, and I'm just standing here going, which is funny to me if I do that, because I'll do that and then everybody starts panicking and then they think it's not working. Okay, sorry. So everything is recorded live on YouTube so that we can, so you can, if you're having internet troubles, the YouTube generally streams very well. So you could stream it on your phone much easier than streaming it through Zoom if you're running out of bandwidth or something. Also, if I'm going to click this little button here, boink. So now it's also being recorded on Canvas. So there will be a link that shows up on Canvas probably 10 minutes after class is over. So you can actually watch the link on Canvas as well. And the reason I do that is because if you need to take this class asynchronously, if for some reason you get a job or have responsibilities outside of the world, like babies. One of my students has a 1-year-old, and like halfway through the class this morning, the little kid kind of climbs across her and starts climbing up the blinds. So she's like, just a minute. So if you get distracted by something like that, you can go back and fill it in online. Everything, I'll show you the Canvas container in a couple seconds, but everything that we do will have a discussion in Canvas to go with it. So if we do a discussion during class and I do breakout rooms in class, you can also do that on Canvas. So so if for some reason you fall asleep at noon, I had a student last semester, Jolynn, who was awesome, but she would fall asleep by most classes. So like I'd get ready to end class and she'd be the only little brick left. Just, she's asleep. Anyway, so if for some reason something goes wrong or something goes weird, I got you. We got this covered. Every so often, like some of you will have internet that'll just kick out. If you live in the East County right now, some of you will just all of a sudden lose power. Oh, Raquel, you made it on. Good. So if you lose power, you're done. I mean, even if you're, for some reason, you can lose electricity but still have internet, which I'm not exactly sure how that works. But whatever. I'm not going to hold you accountable for not showing up to Zooms. I'm going to hold you accountable for doing the discussions. And so sometimes if we discuss things in class, it's all good. So periodically you hear that sound, and I'm going to jump to a different window. And just to make sure that I'm emailed students who can't get in. So just give me a couple seconds. Let's see. Am I still sharing my screen? Or am I not sharing my screen?
You're not.
Okay, good. I just didn't want to put people's emails up. Someone needs a passcode. The link shouldn't require you to use a passcode. So they must be trying to access it through a different way. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. And so I need some help from some of you who have better attention span than I do. If something pops up in the chat, okay, If you have a bad mic or you don't have a good mic, the chat is over here on my computer. So I have my father-in-law's old TV. This is my old TV. Okay, my father-in-law's old TV. And I have a tablet up here. So when we actually start teaching, I use the tablet as my whiteboard and I draw on the screen, and it's kind of cool. But my computer itself is basically it's just one big monitor. It's a big TV. So I have the chat over here, and I have the list of you here. If anybody starts drawing inappropriate images on my screen that isn't me, then I can abandon you from over here. But the cool thing is I can also have all my windows open on this computer. So I got this big cool thing so I can rotate around between different windows. There's my adding people's class. And so my web containers are over here. And so that's my developmental class. Let me go to your Canvas class. This one. Oh, someone annotated. Cool. Yes, the annotation does work. So if you're tempted to draw junk, literally or figuratively, I'll allow it for a while until it gets annoying, and then you can quit it. Sorry. Anyway, so if you haven't, hopefully you've seen the Canvas page. The Canvas page is my audio going gurgly, or is it okay?
It sounds fine to me.
Okay. My image keeps freezing a little bit, so I know that I'm kind of using a lot of the memory on this poor computer. It's an old recycled Mac, so it it's been around the block once or twice. Well, keep this simple and not too long today. So the Canvas page has everything that we do. So the link to get to our Zoom is right at the top of the Canvas homepage. The YouTube channel's there where this is being live streamed right now. There's also a Zoom recording page, which I'll start populating as soon as the recordings come in. This is our textbook, and I'll show you the links to our textbook coming up. If you want to buy a hard copy of the textbook, you can. It's a 16 bucks, I think. I haven't clicked on this link yet this year, so let's see if it's still there. 10% off orders. $14.22. Okay, so that's the textbook that we use. So when they charge $200 for a textbook, it's stupid. This is a 600-page textbook, and it costs $14 to print. You don't have to buy a hard copy of it. All the links to the chapters are in Canvas, and which I will scroll down and show you. There's all this more Zoom information just in case. I had a bunch of students this morning say, oh, I can't see the Zoom. How do I log into the Zoom? I'm not going to pull the old person here, but I'm going to say, young people, don't scroll down. Scroll down. Because when you scroll down, you get to see more of the page. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, so let's see, I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Okay, there's a whole set of chapters here that go by dates. This is kind of the schedule that we're going to follow. There's going to be discussions that pop up here. And after this next week, this will be the top of our syllabus page. So when you log in, you will see this page, this grid, and it'll have a discussion for you to do. We don't really have tests in here. You don't have to sit down and memorize stuff for a test. It's all about experience and trying to connect this class to you. I don't want to be just a talking head all semester. I want to hear from you, either in writing or in person. And so the discussions, the only discussion that you have to do right now, which I'm going to put a link to right now. Just put the link there. So when teachers tell you it's really hard, it's not hard. There's a link to the discussion. Okay, it's on the Introduction to Psych page. Scroll down, you'll find it. if you're using your phone, sometimes this little menu to the side isn't there for some reason. So anyway, so this is what I want you to do today. I want to post on this thing called Who You Are. Who are you? Okay. And so the point of this is really important for me, is to let us know as a class, what is your background? What is your culture? What do you bring to the class? And so to me, it's actually kind of fun because every single one of you has a different background. Every single one of you has a different culture. I've had students last semester say, well, I don't have a culture. I'm like, well, yeah, you do. Everybody has a culture. A culture is the way that you are, that your food that you like to eat. My wife and I eat very, very healthy. We spend a lot of time and freaking money making sure that we eat lots of healthy food. And our grocery bills are $300 or $400 a week because we're eating all whole foods that are, non-processed. And I can't believe that this stupid energy bar thing is non-processed, but it doesn't have a lot of stuff in it. The only reason, for those people at the beginning, I choked this thing down was because my wife doesn't like the chocolate mint flavor. And so they expire, so I have to eat them. Yeah. Anyway, it's 100 calories, it's good. So, but your culture doesn't necessarily mean the color of your skin. Your culture doesn't necessarily mean your religion. Those are parts of it, but that doesn't mean exactly who you are. So I want you to think about yourself. You know, what is the things that define you? What are the things that make you to be yourself or your culture? And it's one of those things where you have to kind of think a little bit, and you really can't be wrong on it. So back to home, and you can, please, once you post, you can read other people's comments, and then just go through and read what their culture is. Because to me, that's a really important part of this class, is bringing you to this class. My culture is very unique and different. I'm from annoying, overeducated white males with a beard, over 50. So I fit the characteristics of being a college professor. But what's funny to me is that what I am shouldn't be what a college professor is. But it's funny when you realize that a lot of college professors in my generation are exactly the same people I learned from. And so we want to try and change that. We want to get more people's perspectives involved other than the standard Sigmund Freud, old white male with a beard. And like, if you look at my little picture here, anybody recognize that? That's Sigmund Freud that somebody drew riding a bicycle. And you'll start to find out about me and my personal self is that there's two things that I really value. I love going outside. I love being outside. And that's why I'm in my garage right now, and it's only 84 right now. Fine. But I really don't like being inside. And so I spend a lot of time on my bicycle, and I spend a lot of time out fishing, and I don't like hunting because I don't like hurting things, but I love going and stalking animals just to sneak up on them and try to take their picture. It's like hunting, but you don't kill anything. And I spend as much time outside as possible. And so you'll find, I'll make a lot of annoying bicycle references. Currently, I have 12 bicycles. And they all have soul and meaning and purpose, so I can't get rid of them. But anyway, that's another story. And anyway, the other thing that's really important that you need to know about me is I really like picking up heavy things. On the other side of the wall over here is our gym. Since we can't go to the gym because of the COVID, we've got an entire gym next door. I just actually put up the squat rack yesterday, so I'm very excited. So I should be tipping over. I have a standing desk. Made that myself. Okay, so it's a piece of plywood with some sticks on it. And the reason I stand is because I'm old and I like lifting heavy things. And if you like lifting weights, sitting is really bad for you. So I highly suggest you figure out a way to set up your computer or laptop or something so you can get up and move around. It's so great to be able to like sit, and periodically you'll see me doing this. That's because I can get an exercise ball and put it on my couch, and I'll sit and bounce on the exercise ball. Someone just tell me to quit it if I'm doing it too much, but it really helps me stay focused to move. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else you really need to know. Do you need to show up to class every day? What do you think?
Yes.
Well, okay. Some people can say yes to that because some people need to show up to class. Some people don't. Some people are much better independent learners, and some people are much better interacting. I am an extrovert. We'll talk about those later in the semester, but whatever I'm thinking, I share, which is not necessarily a good thing sometimes. But there are people who are introverts. Introverts are people who would rather sit down and study by themselves and just get all the notes and be done with it. That's perfectly fine. If you are an extrovert and you do enjoy sharing, I recommend that you show up to the Zooms. We're not going to Zoom every single class time. I think that gets a little bit Zoom fatiguey. Just staring at the screen, which is ironic because when you take a break, you end up staring at another screen. Whatever. My daughter's like, I'm so tired of looking at the computer, and then she's Snapchatting with all of her friends. Go outside. I have a research paper that says that people who use their phone during a break are more fatigued after the break than they were before they started the break. Go outside. Once it gets really hot, it's supposed to be really hot later this week, I might come back. You might come back from a little break and I might have wet hair. We have a swimming pool. And so there might be a cannonball involved occasionally and I'm actually wearing a bathing suit right now, so I can go jump in the pool if I need to. As long as I have my nice polo shirt on, it's fine. Anyway, I'm wearing sneakers though. That's a little weird, but don't worry about that because my feet hurt, so I can't just stand in bare feet all day. Probably too much information. Oh well. If you want to contribute, if you want to jump in and talk and be involved, great. That's awesome. It really makes the class go really well. But if you want to just sit quietly and smile, perfect. I'm not going to force you to say anything or ask you to talk. I do need someone to help me pay attention to the chat though. So like if I put the chat window up here, minimize that. Okay, so if I put if somebody posts something in the chat, like I can't see the chat right now. I don't know where my chat window went. There it is. It's on the next window over. Okay. Okay. So if somebody posts something in the chat and you're one of those people who enjoys talking, please tell me something's in the chat so that I know. I lost you guys on another window somewhere. Too many windows. Or if like someone said, hey, my audio's not working, I can't hear you. That's great. Put it in the chat so I can see if I can adjust my settings or I can help you adjust your settings. But someone needs to be in charge of that. Somebody else needs to be in charge of me clicking those 2 recording buttons, please. Because I'll sit and start going, yay, this is exciting. Like when we start talking about the nature of the mind and next class, I'm like, yay, this is so great. And then someone about halfway through goes, are you recording? Don't click. Sorry. I get excited about the material a lot and I kind of forget that I have to do all the other things that I have to do. So if someone can please remind me to start the recording and someone can pay attention to the chat box. If you don't know how to get the chat box, there's a little box down here that says chat. Chat, you click on that, or Alt-H also works. Get the chat up. Let's see. So my office hours, I was working on that actually during the little break today. I will be available like about an hour before this class. I will be my Zoom will be open and I will be walking back and forth and probably getting water. I drank like 3 or 4 of these today. And luckily, I do have a bathroom right here. So that's nice. We put it in when we built the pool. So it's awesome to have a bathroom here. I promised to mute before I flush, I hope. Probably not, actually, because it's funny to me, because that's my extrovert self. I enjoy that sort of thing, but just it disgusts all the introverts. So anyway. So let's see, there was something else. If you need anything, okay, let me go back to the syllabus really quickly. Okay, there's a phone number on here. Okay, so somewhere in here, there is a phone number, not all the Zoom phone numbers. Did I not have it? There it is. Contact phone. Okay, that's a Google Voice phone number. Right now, it all goes to my cell phone because I'm not in my office. If you call and leave a message in my office, I'm not there to get it. We got a new phone system before we went on lockdown, and I don't know how to get my voicemail off of it. So the best thing to do is text me at this phone number. It's a Google Voice number, so it comes up on a Google Voice. Hold on. Put it. No. That's weird. So my Google Voice looks like this. Wait for it. And so messages. And so these are, hey, Bethany, cool. Anyway, so that's my old Google Voice phone number. But it basically comes up and I get a text message that that you go right through, and it goes right through to my phone. Okay, so if you need to get in touch with me, text me. I will respond right away. If I go to sleep around 9 o'clock at night, and so because I get up at 4, and so I'm kind of one of those guys that accidentally text back when they get the text. So if you text me after 9 o'clock, when am I going to text you back?
The next morning?
Yeah, when I get up and check my text in the morning. So what ends up happening is you get a text at 4 in the morning from me. Sorry. Also, if you have notifications set up on your Canvas, you might want to mute them for my class because I'll send out a lot of announcements. And I do a lot of my schoolwork first thing in the morning. 3 or 4 days a week, I work out in the morning, and the other couple of days a week in the morning, I'll work on school stuff because there's no one around. It's quiet, and I can get a lot done without my children requiring things. My daughter is 17. She is going into her senior year at Patrick Henry High School. She is going to be a speech pathology major, emphasis in linguistics and speech disorders. What else? She plays volleyball. Well, used to when we had indoor sports. Right now she plays beach volleyball. And my son is 14. He is annoyingly 14. If anybody happens to have a 14-year-old nearby in their life, holy moly, I don't know how I ever survived that age. It's a very dark and dangerous time for a young male. Anyway, he grew, since we went on lockdown, he's grown almost 2.5 inches. His feet are now longer than mine, so I get all his old shoes. He's like, Dad, my shoes hurt. I'm like, dude, they're the same size that I wear. And we measured his feet. They're bigger than mine. So he's going to be probably 6'2", 6'3". I'm 6 foot, but he only weighs like $120. So he's got a long way to go before he develops that testosterone muscle mass. My wife is a principal at Boulder Oaks Elementary School in Alpine. She's in mid-panic mode because if San Diego stays on the off the watch list for 14 days, her kids come back to school. And trying to figure out exactly how to run a school during a pandemic is a challenge. Her school's ready for it. They have all the distancing and everything else set up. They're just not exactly sure exactly how to make it work. Yeah. All right. So that's it. I mean, that's all I really wanted to have for you today is the two things that's most important is you check Canvas. Okay, when you log into Canvas, there should be little announcements at the top of the page. If you look at the announcements, they should tell you what's going on. Like I just put out an announcement earlier for my developmental class that I had the wrong syllabus on there. I accidentally uploaded my summer syllabus and someone noticed today. So I put an announcement out, hey, I'm gonna fix the syllabus, give me a minute. I will send lots of emails that way. If you haven't been getting all the slew of emails, go check your spam and say that Canvas is an okay. I'm only going to email you through Canvas. Some of you who have been email me and say, well, you haven't replied, I've emailed twice. I will email you from my Gmail so it gets through your spam filter. So you might see an email from my Gmail. It's the same stephenweinert@gmail.com. So if you see that coming through, don't invest in any opportunities that I'm giving you opportunities to invest in, but just let me know that your emails have been getting filtered. So I want you to be as successful as possible this term, because it's weird. Okay, has anybody got any questions or concerns or? No, it's pretty straightforward. Most of your points will come from interaction on the discussion board. The reason I like on the discussion board is because people who aren't here can still interact just as well. Okay, if you want to contribute, if you want to be a part of class, please feel free to chime in, say stuff. Okay, be active. If you have a crappy internet connection, use the chat. I really suggest you I'm going to form a thing called learning communities on Canvas, about a week or so. And then I'm going to stick you with a bunch of random people. And the goal of doing that, I know the smirks, it's great. The goal of doing that is forming if you have other people that help you hold accountable, it makes you a lot more successful. If you know any other people in the class, form your own learning community. All of our psych majors, we're forming they're called cohorts, but we're forming psych major cohorts on campus as well, so that you shouldn't have to do this by yourself. And it really sucks to be home and doing this by yourself. When we were in college, it was all study groups. We all got together with all of our classes and had study groups. And it really sucks to be sitting there by yourself feeling overwhelmed without a study group. I had a group of students last semester that formed their own big study group, and they ended up, all of them finished 3 courses that they ooh, good English, thanks. They took, and they got together, they all worked on their final together, they got together and they kind of took over my Zoom one day and worked on the test together during class, and which was great. I mean, it's perfect for me because I'm like, okay, and they all discussed and what they got the right answer, what was this, why was this. It was really cool. And I really suggest that we do that this semester. Try to get as many people involved as you can with a group. You can do GroupMe, you can do group chats, someone can organize it and post a link in here for everybody to log into if they want to. But the only thing is someone has to take charge of it. But I'll let you figure that out. In 2 weeks, I'll facilitate the start of it, and you guys can figure out if you want to do it or not. I tell you, it really makes a big difference if you have other people in class holding you accountable. And if you're like, well, I don't feel like doing that today. Well, good. They're going to do it, and you're going to go, oh, they did it, and I didn't. And that'll give you that little bit of impetus and a little bit of pressure to get stuff done. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to hit stop. Boink.